So if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, if you feel like you keep going back to the same bad behaviors over and over and over again, if you keep indulging in vices, whatever it is, here's a concept that has served me very well and that has served clients very well. When you want to make fast progress in life, you have to move fast. I have this tattoo here which says vision to reality. In actuality, I should have made it thoughts to reality. It's how fast can you implement things that you have in your mind? How fast can you take action on things? When you look at people that are high achieving, one of the big recurring themes is that they are fast. This is why people say that money loves speed. They essentially drag their time horizon by the balls and they just say, hey, how can we take this from end of year to end of month? How can we take this end of month thing to end of week? They think in bigger units of time so that they can move faster, and then that gives them momentum, but then also they just move faster in the actual micro. Now, when you are stuck in a rut, you are preserving energy. You are moving slow, you are overthinking, overanalyzing, you are thinking about your problems that do not even exist, but because you think about your problems so much, that's why they exist. And so really the problem is that you think you have problems because you keep going back to the same pattern. Then you say, okay, this is a thing, you feed it more energy, and that's why it becomes a loop. How you get unstuck is you change everything very quickly and you force the level up. What does that mean? You have to put yourself in an environment that is completely different from before, and you have to put yourself in an uncomfortably new level. So whatever you can to change that. That can mean going to a different gym, going to a different apartment, go to a different city, a different continent, completely changing everything about your life. The reason why I'm able to have gone from, socially anxious to super scarcity minded to super poor to not having any muscle, right? It's by changing my environment ongoingly. And especially in the last few years, being able to travel abroad and unchaining myself from all of the different preconceptions that people had about me in my old environment allowed me to very drastically let go of what didn't serve me. And whenever I would go back to a certain behavior, I would just switch the environment, have a new clean slate, force the level up by investing more into myself. And that then allowed me to let go of what didn't serve me and attach to what did serve me. There hasn't been a single moment in my life where I wasn't able to make ends meet, but for years I always struggled to make ends meet. And it didn't matter how my lifestyle was, how abundantly I was actually living, I would always just struggle. And the moment I started to push more, I started to step into that higher version of myself, trust myself more, I had to step up. I had to do more to match my new level of lifestyle. And when you do that, your life will automatically just adjust to that new level because you're pushing yourself. You're not just staying comfortable and being able to eat Cheetos all day. If I eat Cheetos all day, with the amount of responsibility that I have, the team that I have, people that I'm leading, people that I'm coaching, I am literally fucked. When you place yourself in a position where you get punished severely for messing up, that's when you stop messing up. As long as you keep having, 30, 40 hours of free time every single week, you have no goals, you have no clear purpose, you don't know where you're going, and you live a life without intentionality, which is what most people do. We're basically monkeys. You continuously go back to vices, to bad behaviors, to breaking your word with yourself and creating that negative cycle of guilt and shame, which is the lowest, vibration possible, because you haven't built a life setup that avoids all of that in the first place. Another great example of this is fighting. If you go to the gym every single day, or if you go fight every single day, if you drink the previous night, you are now going to get absolutely smashed by the weights, or you're going to get absolutely smashed by your opponent that you're sparring with, right? Because you're not optimal. It becomes a lot easier to then say, no, I will not drink, because you know what the consequences of that is. If you just uphold your word to yourself and you still do the things that you need to be doing, then after, one or two times of actually going through that, you realize how much that sucks, and it becomes a lot easier to stop going back to that. Now, one last thing, when you upgrade your life in this way, when you force the level up and you invest more into yourself and you make yourself be so busy, have so much responsibility, you just adapt. But at the same time, you need to really up-level your standards, because we don't go up to the level of our dreams and ambitions. We fall down to the standards that we have. And if your standards are eating Cheetos on the couch, watching Netflix 20 hours a week, then that is what you're going to get more of. If your standard is, I will literally abstain from all the poison, meaning social media, shows, all of the nonsense, that's what I do, and you don't have to be that extreme. But it becomes very easy, because now your brain is basically wired for work. Your brain is wired for accomplishment, because you're not getting the dopamine hits that everybody else is getting, and that allows you to actually get more joy out of your day-to-day. Doesn't make you feel drained, it makes you feel more accomplished on the day-to-day. And then as a result, you create this flywheel where you can actually execute at a much higher level, have more joy in the process, and as a result, get way more things done. And when you force this level up, oftentimes it can be quite scary. It can feel like, okay, I'm not ready for this. I need to work more on myself. The present moment is all there is. And when you embrace the level up, you force the change and you will just adapt. And it can be scary, but the actual downside is pretty much always quite limited. And really, what's the worst thing that can happen if you force the level up? People would say burnout, or you get depressed, or you overstep, and all these things. These are problems that we create in our minds. They're not a real thing. They do not exist unless you give them existence. Because in actuality, you are just consciousness. Your thoughts and your stress and everything, those are just things to be managed. And so really, if you cannot manage it, at least you'll be way more capable of handling it, because you've exposed yourself to that level. So investing in yourself with coaching, with mentors, with courses, with masterminds, whatever you can to get into a new environment and to surround yourself with people that hold a way higher standard than your current environment has for you in store. Upgrade your gym, upgrade your apartment, go to a more high-class environment with more high-achieving people, go to a different city. Supplements, right? Like whatever you can do to invest in yourself, you'll see yourself as something more worthy, because you're relying on yourself, you're betting on yourself, you're fueling the golden goose, right? Because you are the golden goose. And no matter whatever will go wrong, you will build a more potent version of yourself, which you can then use in whichever endeavor you choose to pursue. And it's never how, it's always who. It's always the person who is not capable enough to get to the position where they need to go. And if you're not where you want to be, you're not potent enough to be in that position. It's not because you're missing anything. And so when you invest in yourself, you can start to build that competency. You can start to build that trust, and you can start to bridge the gap between the identity that you have now and the identity that you need to have, so that you can actually make that shift. I hope this video is helpful, and I'll see you tomorrow.